We have a glimpse in John 11 into a story filled with drama, anxiety, and deep conversations. Now, there was a good friend of Jesus who had become quite sick, and so his two sisters sent a message to Jesus asking for him to come and heal their brother Lazarus. Jesus responded by saying his sickness will not end in death. So instead of rushing off to see Lazarus, he stayed where he was, doing what he was doing for another 2 days before he went to visit his friends. Now, when he arrived, he was greeted by Lazarus's distressed sisters, who said, "Jesus, if you had been here, this would not have happened." Now, we understand from this passage that faith does not keep bad things from happening to any one of us. We do know that Jesus comes to us in our tough times, and he brings comfort in times of sadness and loss. Jesus said to Martha that Lazarus will rise again, but she immediately thought that Jesus was talking about the last day. So Jesus went on and said these beautiful words to her. He said, "I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live, even after dying. Everyone who lives in me and believes in me will never die." So what is Jesus saying in this passage? We hear the promise of, if you like, an afterlife in heaven, eternal life. Now, I must point out that at this moment, this very moment, touched Jesus' emotions, and in chapter 11 of John, verse 35, which happens to be the shortest verse in the Bible, it says, Jesus wept. Now, that's an easy verse to memorise, Jesus wept, but it contains a great truth. 2 simple words show how our pain moves the Spirit. Jesus weeps with us when we grieve. Now, that's comforting. The source of our pain is not God, and yet he weeps with us in our suffering. So they went off to the tomb of Lazarus, and despite protests of the people gathered around about the smell, the stone was removed before Jesus called, "Lazarus, come out." Now, that would have been an amazing moment in history. I would have loved to have been there. I can imagine people saying, "What? What did he say?" Right. Nonetheless, Lazarus struggles out, wrapped up as a mummy in grave clothes. Jesus simply said, "Unbind him and set him free." So the question is, are you being kept from the fullness of life? If so, Jesus can set you free. Trust him. Further to that, you and I can be as Jesus to those around us who are struggling with the circumstances of life. Even in the most difficult of moments, life happens, and at times it can seem quite severe. But know this, it's not the end of the story. It's not about defeat, failure, death, but about new life, new opportunities and ways of seeing the world through the eyes of Jesus, who said, "I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life." This is worth thinking about. So have a great week, and remember, we are blessed to be a blessing.